My other major collection I have are my comics. It's not really a big collection, but I have a fair bit of singles and lots of trade paperbacks. My very first comic I ever read was this one, Marvel Team Up number 107. This is not the actual one. I was reading a friend's comic back in kindergarten for that, since it features Spider-Man. That branched me off to Daredevil, Cage, etc., and She-Hulk, to Fantastic Four, Hulk, Avengers, and Defenders. The list goes on and on. I get many different series. Some are really weird. When I was younger, I didn't go to a comic-specific store. If anyone remembers, some 99-cent stores got those $1 for 5 comic packs, so I got a whole bunch of random ones for years. My favorite pile is my Hulk section. Anything that features Bruce or Jen, I'll pretty much get. I got stuff from various series. Sensational was a one-shot for her 30th anniversary. Hulk Volume 2, number 1, a weird twist to the series. Some things I liked, other things went really far. This cover of Hulk with Deadpool is my favorite out of the run. Marvel loves to change the title of their series when they're about to end them. It confuses me way too much, but having all the universes merge was a cool arc. Savage Hulk was a short run. It was basically a back-to-basic story, not hinging on current storylines. My Spider-Woman issues, mainly from volumes 3 and 4. I didn't know for a while Marvel brought her solo. One gripe of mine with comics, finding out really late a series came back. My Spidey stuff, it's so confusing to follow him. Marvel resets his comics numbering way too many times. It's even confusing when you buy them as trades. You don't know what starts or what line you're in unless you read the fine print. I'll even forget. Some runs barely get to 20 issues before they go back to 1. I also love Miles Morales' Spider-Man. I prefer it this way. If you have to have other people use the same character title, put them in a different universe, or at least have a different title. Not like with the 5 Robins, the 2 Spider-Womans, or both She-Hulks. 1, it makes people just resent the new character, and 2, the company just looks like they abandoned the original. Never works out. This cover for Spider-Man 2099 was my personal favorite. Miguel always gets screwed with women. This cover was weird for the universe merging arc, but it makes you think, is he being erased out of existence? Does his comic matter anymore? Of course I have the controversial Superior Spider-Man comic, where Doc Ock took over Parker's body. Some people went way too far with the hate. I didn't like it either that he took over his body, but we all knew Peter was gonna be back somehow. Got a couple of older issues, and I also got Superior Spider-Man 1 signed by Dan Slott. He was doing a signing on launch of issue 1. These are the more of the random lot comics I got for $1. This Simpsons issue was fun. Flanders was being bad. I never got why comics colored Bart in blue. Is blue ink cheaper than red orange? A Fantastic Four issue based off the 90s cartoon run. My only issue of Jughead. I gotta pick up some Archie trades. A Topps Jurassic Park comic. Not really good. A really beat up Roger Rabbit comic. I had to staple the comic so the cover wouldn't fall off anymore. A DC Star Trek issue, the artist really loves lines. Justice League Task Force, Suicide Squad, Hawk and Dove, Cage. And a Mr. Miracle featured Justice League. Scott and Barter are the new God characters I like the most. Orion's cool too. Secret Wars 2099, this was okay. It had a new Captain America, but she didn't know she was this hero. It was some multiple personality problem, and some of my leftovers. A Betty, Beetle Bailey, Betty and Veronica, a Flintstone issue, for some reason the cover always looks brand new, and the comic that came with the Doctor Who Blu-ray set. It was okay, felt like a mini-sode, and the comic that came with Batman Arkham City. Ultimate End, that ended the Ultimate Spider-Man comic, and some of these weird comics. Feud is embossed printed to get those kids to go, ooh. Marvel Sci-Force, Devil. I never knew what happened here. I got this mini comic with a Daredevil issue, but the cover was missing. XO, which looks like an emoticon now, and Batbabe, a parody comic. This comic that's trying to be James Bond. Now, this Bloodshot comic randomly came with my Titanus. I noticed that if an item on Amazon is expensive, people throw in some sort of thing as a bonus. Topps really tried hard with this Night Glider comic. The cover is embossed, it came with a trading card, and has Jack Kirby plastered everywhere. I doubt it lasted long. Marvel's Rom, not the guy from Deep Space Nine. Stalkers. Oh, and parents that love to complain about comics, check this one out. The Protectors. The story is total junk, and this was sold to me when I was 9. If you want to complain about comics, go after these types. Some of these other ones, Icon, Supreme, True Crime Story, okay, just basic. Anyone remember the Barbed Wire movie? Came from here. All I'm gonna say is the comic is better than the movie. A Mighty Avengers featuring Photon, at the time called Captain Marvel. Another Cage, I don't know why I never got more. Thunderstrike, Secret Weapons, Guardian of the Galaxies, one issue of Lobo, I gotta find his trades, really good. And a James Bond Jr. comic. I'd buy a DVD set of the series. And some leftover bits. Some Avengers, a Teen Titan, another Suicide Squad, a Star Wars issue, and a DS9 issue that launched with Season 1. You're probably noticing I have a serious lack of DC comics and only have these handful. Well, during the mid-1990s, a lot of the comics I read, Robin, She-Hulk, and a few others, started getting canceled. This was the first time I went through that stuff. I had a ton of DC comics, easily 100 for Supes, Batman, Wonder Woman, New Gods, etc. I know I had close to 200 issues of Fantastic Four. I just got mad and threw most of them out. I haven't been able to replace them with trades right now. I think the only reason why these few survived was because I just didn't see them. I totally regret it. I didn't even sell them. The last batch that I got were these X-Men issues. Some based off the cartoon show story, others more memorable. Fans of the issues will know which one I mean. And this expansive cover starting this new run of X-Men. I just got less and less comics and started focusing on getting video games. This Wolverine comic was the last comic I bought that came out in '99. And I never got any more until 2005 when some of the canceled comics started coming back. This A-Force comic just started. It's okay, but I don't really see it going past 1 year. Here comes my trade paperbacks. While collecting comics is a lot easier with hardcovers and trades, it's still confusing. My Wolverine classic, which starts from the beginning of his solo series, Amazon had the first 5 issues, but after that they didn't get any more, so I thought they had sold bad. But I go and check my comic store one day and they got up to volume 12. My Spider-Man stuff, Miles Morales, was the recent one I got. The Parker Luck, this is marked as Volume 1, so this is going to be real confusing to anyone starting to collect from now. Ultimate Spider-Man, you love it or you hate the changes. Spider-Girl, this one starts with her numbering reset and is the only ones that are full-size trades. Her first run is mini books. The original run of 2099, I think these are selling poorly because it's taken probably 8 years to release only 2 volumes. Now here's the Masterpiece line. Volume 1 has been reissued so many times I've lost track. I don't even think they've reached issue 200 yet. It's really nice, but Marvel is taking way too long. Got 1 volume of Spider-Woman. Now, this mini book is Marvel Adventures, basically a comic line that introduces characters to new people. It has no main continuity to stories going on, just fun, simple stuff. This one had 3 of my favorites, Hulk going to a party with Tigra, and Spider-Man wasting his time tracking down a robotic dog. Heralds, a mini-series. If you're familiar with Galactus, you'll know what the story is about. They put a bunch of characters that don't work together all that often. The only advantage of series that constantly gets canceled all the time is that it's easy to complete. Except for some side issues and a couple of novels, this is everything that's been released for She-Hulk, including this crappy Essential book. I don't mind cheaper books. You get all 26 issues of her first series in this, except you get screwed out of color. Now, DC has the same thing, but they're in color. Don't get Marvel's Essential line, you'll regret it. I also have to complain about the cover. Jen is not blonde. The next ones are from her 3rd series. This one contains her 100th issue, so I got it signed along with Volume 1 by Dan Slott at his Superior Spider-Man signing. Now, this one is an actual graphic novel and not just a trade collection. I don't think this was ever reprinted, so I had to find an original copy. As of now, this is the only volume of her 2nd series. I guess this sold crummy too, which is surprising because this is John Byrne's run, the man who gave She-Hulk her full personality, and this also has the issue where I got my username from. Oh, I hated this. When Secret Invasion was going on, Marvel freaking removed the volume numbers from their trades. It drove me nuts. Now this, I really liked, Indestructible Hulk. This series had Hulk work with S.H.I.E.L.D. He did all sorts of stuff, even time travel. Now, Hulk Volume 1, I got tired of. There's tons of stuff that I love from Jeff Loeb, but this never agreed with me. The thing is, practically all the secondary characters got superpowers. Rick, Ross, Betty, practically everyone. And I got real bored of the whole Who's Red Hulk storyline. And he didn't care about She-Hulk's story at the time and made her do things she wouldn't have. It was just a stupid mess, so I gave up. I guessed it was Ross, like in issue 6, and how he was gonna unkill Betty. Now, Hulk Volume 2 was a different story, much more interesting take on Hulk. Savage Hulk was a fun side miniseries. Now, normally I don't get hardcovers, I just screwed up here and ordered the wrong version. I also hate how Marvel releases hardcovers first and then takes months to release the trade paperbacks. That's pretty much it. I have a lot of ground to make up for, and I really need to get a ton of DC stuff back on my shelves. Check back for the final part where I cover all my DVDs and Blu-rays.